Alright, Spider-Man 52 here. It is that story where Ben Reilly fights Venom. We looked at the first chapter the other day. This is part of the Clone Saga. It is Ben Reilly's first adventure off by himself. His first outing as Scarlet Spider. With the 4 different Spider-Man titles, they split them, and Adjectiveless Spider-Man here and Spider-Man's Web, they were handed over to Ben Reilly, while Peter Parker continued to star in the other 2, Amazing Spider-Man and Spectator Spider-Man. Potentially a worthwhile decision, but they didn't stick with it long enough for it to pay off. We start by being introduced to a reporter at the Daily Planet. He is called Jake Ellis. They actually tried to build up a separate supporting cast for Ben Reilly, and I didn't know if it was necessary. Spider-Man has more than enough secondary characters that could be offered here, or add ones that could be brought back. There's more than enough Daily Planet reporters at Marvel. No writer needs to create a new one. Jake Ellis, he will be Ben Reilly's weapon for exposition. He will also be the one who christens him Charlotte Spider in this issue. Ben Reilly has gone to him wanting information on Venom's recent whereabouts. He wants to stop Venom because the real Spider-Man hasn't. So here is Venom, and this is a pretty good story for him. In my opinion, Venom was an amazing bad guy for 2 stories. He was a sinister new baddie who was a proper threat to Spider-Man. He was great. And then the minute Todd McFarlane left, Venom became a joke. Like literally one of the first issues without Todd McFarlane, as Venom get killed by 2 nobodies. Venom became a chump and a joke, and then he got quickly reinvented as an anti-hero, and he was in a bunch of bad 90s miniseries that got worse and worse. But here we have what is a common sequence in the Clone Saga. Someone is watching events unfold from the shadows. There are points later on in the Clone Saga when someone is watching from the shadows, and they are also being watched from the shadows by someone else. It is almost like a farce comedy. We will find out who this is watching later in the issue. Right now, we are just getting Ben Reilly to the same place as Venom so that we can have a fun fight. Ben Reilly is a clone of Peter Parker with implanted memories, but the memories only gone as far as his creation, which was in the mid-70s. so he doesn't have any memories of Venom or any stories or bad guys from the 80s or 90s. He's a bit like the current major comic book editors of Marvel. Ben Reilly, he gets beaten badly. He went in cocky and thought Venom would just be another bad guy when he's obviously a lot more violent than all the other bad guys Ben Reilly remembers. Before Venom can kill what he thinks is some crap Spider-Man wannabe, they are interrupted by Scream, the female symbiote from some of them crap Venom miniseries. So now it is a three-way fight. Venom, he wants to kill Scream because she is Carnage's offspring. And when it comes to Venom and his mythology, introducing 5 more different coloured Venoms, that was when it became shit. Carnage was good. That was like a good way to build on Venom. But they quickly just made more symbiotes, and it became rubbish by having so many of them running around. And none of these, like, grandchildren ones were interesting or unique or worth reading about. Scream, she's the only one who ever got any traction, and I think mainly by virtue of having tits. The other 4 were just colour-swapped Venoms. But the main goal of this story is to establish Ben Reilly as a superhero and his own character. He kicks the pair of baddies into the river, and then he saves some people, and the public greet him as a hero, but he is a clone of Peter Parker, so of course he is a misery guts about it, and he thinks that he wasn't a good enough hero because he didn't properly stop the bad guys. They are still out there. Wonky art on this page, very wonky art. We continue in Spider-Man's web, where we have another valuable issue, since it features the first appearance of the second most important character to come from the Clone Saga. He is also the character in the Clone Saga who watches things from the shadows the most. So look forward to that. This issue, this whole story, it's just a fun fight. Ben Reilly is a decent character to root for. Venom is used well as a villain. And even the boring girl Venom, Scream, she is fine in this. I guess it is true what they say. These really are the last days of Sodom. 7 thumbs up.